Welcome to the WBB Mason Coaches Report. I'm here with head women's basketball coach Krista Kilburn Steveskey. Coach, it's been another one-on-one week for you. How'd the team do this week?
Well, we did really well on Saturday. It is what it is on Tuesday. You got to give credit to Stony Brook, but we definitely learned a lot from that. It was a disappointing journey across the island, and I think our whole motto the rest of the week was, it's not whether you fall and get knocked down, it's just how you're going to get back up. So I think our response was great. Again, we have a long ways to go, but I thought our response was great, and I know it prepares us for heading into Nashville.
Great. So we had a really exciting win at St. Bonaventure on Saturday.
Yeah.
Sika was unstoppable in the first half. She beat her career high in the first half alone with 20 points, and then she went on to score 27. What was it like to have that senior leadership on the court from Sika?
Well, I think it was amazing. So that part was amazing. I think, sometimes you have to, pick yourself back up a little bit, and she was really disappointed on Tuesday. Just not even the points. I mean, first of all, she just played dynamic, and she played like she's capable of playing. I mean, she is, a top player. But she, my urgency to her all the time is you provide us so many different aspects with your leadership on the floor, with your your defensive ability, you understand the game, and then, boy, you can put the ball in the hole as well. So for that all to come together and for her not to, disappear. I had been pretty hard on her on the Tuesday game because, your value is like too important. So her and Boogie both. So, but just can't say enough. And, the kind of kid she is too, she's just ready to go to the next game as well. It's not much fanfare for her. She's just happy to be able to commit and, and contribute to the team. And now she's like ready to go to the next on. So it's nice to have a player like that stays very balanced.
Yeah, so Hofstra had a big lead at halftime, a nice, little comfortable lead over St. Bonaventure at halftime. St. Bonnie's kind of figured you out in the third quarter. We entered the fourth quarter tied. How did you stay involved with, getting in the game?
Yeah, you felt like the team, the whole game for me was just such a different place than it was, in the previous contest. So not worrying about the score and just doing what we needed to do. It was a very rough start to the third quarter because we were settling. And you were trying to get them back under control about what was just working in the first half, and their decision making with all my guards was extremely poor there for several minutes. And we're trying to get to that media timeout, and it's like, then we call a timeout and we get to the media timeout, and then Sika still then throws up a three. So it was just, all of a sudden something becomes inviting, because they were sagging off you a little bit more and trying to contain, and then you just start shooting up threes. So I think they got their heads back together. We survived that run. Credit to Bonnie's to try to contain our penetration, and then we survived the run and started making some better decisions and going inside out and played better at the end of that third quarter. But we've got to play better in the third quarter. Let's just kind of call it like it is, because we, even from scrimmages all the way on, it's just coming out of the halftime and just really coming out there and staying focused. And I think that's our job as coaches, to kind of find that trigger button to keep our focus and keep ourselves into the game plan and don't let that stray. So I think that's another very, study it, learn from it, and, go forward. So, but just a great overall team win. I think we only had 10 team assists, but just to push forward to get more folks in double figures and get everybody involved. I think as we begin to kind of come together, we can hopefully do that.
So now that we have our first kind of stretch under our belt, we're headed into Thanksgiving break, going into Nashville next week. How do you prepare for 3 games in 3 days? It's going to be definitely a tough task for the Pride.
Yeah, I mean, it gets you ready for conference. Even that's a long ways away, even though it'll be here before we know it. But it just, kind of tells you a little bit of what you're made of against 3 teams that are really good. Wright State just beat UNLV. They lost to Michigan State. But they're a contender team. I mean, I think she's in her 3rd year or 4th year, and they've won 25 games respectively and gone to the tournament. So they've got size, they've got speed, got a really good balance of what they do, and so it's going to be a great contest. I think it'll probably be one of the better teams we've played so far. So then it goes right into Marist, right into Stetson. So just drawing from our bench, drawing from different lineups. We're not dead set on one lineup or starting one lineup or, any of this stuff. I mean, we want to, take advantage and look at, the different scouting opportunities and what put our best foot forward in each game. But we're going to need everybody, on this bench, and everybody's got to be ready for their calling. And I think, I gave them a little challenge. Number one was dealing with basketball adversity, so I thought that's what we did better you're going to have basketball adversity, whether it's, you know, the uncontrollables of the refs or the momentum shifts and things like that. So, you know, focus on the controllables. It was nice to have Lex back in the lineup. It was nice to get healthy Anna back in the lineup, and, you know, good minutes from Karsten all the way across the board. But, you know, we're going to need our depth of our roster, you know, to really show its face here. But my comment to them in the locker room is about teamwork. You know, you say teamwork, but that does become an individual thing as well, because you got to be individually ready when your number is called.
Sure.
So whether it's a walkthrough, and if you're half asleep or not paying attention, whether it's a you know, film session, and I think, you know, the maturity of our group and getting them all along to understand their responsibility. You know, teamwork is an individual responsibility too, that you do everything in your power to get yourself ready so you can contribute for us on this 3-day stance. And that's what great teams, they figure out a way to do that. Great players as well. So, you know, that's going to be my challenge to them all week.
And how do you think the team will bounce back from the 3-game stretch on the road? It'll be five straight away games in total.
Right.
We come back to the MAC against Sacred Heart. What do you think the team strategy will be coming into the first home game in 20 days?
Right. I mean, I think it's great. I always love playing on the road. You know, you have to be mentally tough. You know, you're usually down 10. The fun part about being in Nashville, at least it's a neutral court. So you've got 3 games on a neutral court. So it's not an advantage for Wright State, you know, Marist or Stetson either. So we're all playing on a neutral court. And so that just gives everybody the best platform, you know, to be successful. But, you know, but either way, you know, that your mental toughness, your fight, you know, how well you can, you know, transfer from one game to the next game, and just, like, you know, understand and make those adjustments. And then again, you know, just the bench. I can't talk anymore about, like, what we're going to need from everybody. And, you know, in a season of 30 plus games, and this will give us, you know, an extra game because we have the 3 here, and then so it gives us, you know, extra games. That's why you play, you know, a 3-game stint here. You know, hopefully it puts us in the right position when we're heading into our conference, and that's everything that we're working toward. Find out who we are, you know, who we can count on, who's ready to go, whether it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 8 minutes, you know, it doesn't matter what your minute total is. Are you prepared? You know, it's Division I level. We want to be at a much higher level, you know, than we're performing, and to do that, you know, it's going to take all of us.
Definitely. Well, it's definitely been an exciting week, and it'll continue into next week. Again, Coach, we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We start off with Wright State before Marist, and closing at the trip with Stetson. Coach, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, well, I got a big shout out here to Hofstra volleyball, though. It was an incredible CAA championship win. I was screaming and scared my dog Elvis underneath the couch because I was yelling at some of the uncontrollables that they had to suffer. But then guess what? They came back and rallied in that 5th set and just put him to rest. So it was a huge win over JMU. Can't be any happier for obviously the whole volleyball team and the coaches, and as well as the university, because it's just awesome. Anytime you beat JMU and then have to be at the highest stage in the CAA championship win is exciting for all of us. So, and then happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Our team's going to do a good job of, you know, what are we grateful for, you know, and I think sometimes we lose sight when it becomes all about us in the season, that we know what is our gratitude. And so I think we know definitely appreciate you taking away your time from your family and everyone. So just happy Thanksgiving, and you know, we have a lot to be grateful for.
For sure. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.